cast members of the Waltons, how famous did they get? They said they could go into a restaurant, sit down and eat, and like I said, they're using a fork to get ready to put food in their mouth. Somebody would stop them and ask for an autograph. Yeah, they said you could go in the restaurant, any of them, and they couldn't eat for people wanting their autographs. That's how popular a lot of the cast members of the Waltons got. They said it was a lot of fun shooting that. It was a lot of fun shooting it, but they said long hours in the kitchen. Those kitchen scenes were long hours. They said all day long shooting. And what you see on TV, what in the scene, 3 or 4 minutes maybe, he said that was all day. They said that was all day shooting. Better yet, listen to him.
Things were really fun.
Listen.
On the set. I mean, it got pretty wacky. There were long days, and especially
Jason
in
Walton.
those kitchen scenes, we would sit there on the dinner table for hours. And
Listen.
after a while, especially in the afternoon, there was a real lack of oxygen there, and I think it made us all giddy. So pretty soon we'd all be laughing.
Can we talk? As long as you mind your manners. No tickling at the table.
All
And
day
I think
shooting.
That energy that we had, that goofing around that we did, right up until the word action, gave us a nice flow of energy.
Listen. That's John
Came across as real kids.
Walmsley.
Because
Played Jason Walton.
we were just being ourselves, which I think is probably the key to acting anyway.
The kids on the Waltons.
It's Earl Hamner, the
beginning,
creator of the Waltons.
We were looking just for kids that would just match if they all had red hair. But unfortunately, each of them had their own special.
I love this one scene. I'll explain in a second. I've been watching The Life and Times of the Waltons on TNN, and where they interview all the cast members. And John Walmsley, the one that played Jason Walton, he said the kitchen scenes was they were all day shooting in the kitchen scenes. He said he used the word giddy. He said you'd be sitting there so long when the director would say action, you just laugh. I mean, what you see in maybe 2 or 3 minutes in the kitchen scene, he said that was all day shooting. And it's pretty wild. They showed a picture of it, and as the camera backed up, when you watch a show like that, you don't see the behind the scenes, but when you place yourself in the actor or actress shoes, and you see all the studio lights, that acting, they say it's not easy, but they say once you try acting, I've heard this, I don't know how true, but they say once you try acting, you're hooked for life. It's pretty amazing how they get those kids to act. How a 9-year-old, and most of those Waltons, they was hired at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and but they said he said that those kitchen scenes were long shoots, all day long, and he said Ralph Waite said he was with the entire show. He says shooting the Waltons was 12 to 14-hour days for 10 years. Wow. This Waltons documentary hits older than I thought it was, because they're interviewing John Ritter when he played a reverend on the Waltons. So John Ritter passed away in 1993, and you hear him here. So this documentary is probably before 1993, older than I thought it'd be. John Walmsley, if I pronounce his name right, the one that played Jason Walton on the Waltons. He was born in England, but when he was an infant, his parents moved to California. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Yeah, he's born in England. He's technically not an American. He wasn't born in America, born in England. John Walmsley, who played Jason Walton on the Waltons, from England. Wow. And Richard Thomas, who played John Boy, said he loved that fame. He really enjoyed being famous. He said, let's face it, it gives you a little ego. But he said he liked the fame that he got portraying John Boy Walton. He really enjoyed it. And Richard Thomas, he seems like he's a very cool guy. How famous did the cast of the Waltons get? They said they could go into a restaurant, sit down to eat, and they said before they'd be using a fork to eat with. They said before they could get the food in their mouth, somebody would stop them. Keep them from eating to sign their autograph. Will you sign your autograph, please? That's how popular the Waltons got, the cast members. They showed a scene of the Waltons in the kitchen, and it was a picture, and the picture backed up, or has a camera, backed up from the picture. You can see all the studio lights. Pretty wild. On a movie set, it's pretty wild looking. When you're watching them, it's a different story. But if you get on their side, the actor or actress, and you look toward the camera, it's all studio, and they just showed a scene of it. But that acting, I've did a little bit of that. It's not as easy as it looks, even for kids. You got those cameras looking at you, the studio lights, and so like when you watch them, it's a totally different story than when you're there and doing the work as acting.